What's
Yeah,
good,
so
everyone?
welcome guys. I know you guys kind of see a few of us in the group chat. I know you guys know me in Trade Echo. So the reason for today's, live seminar is just to meet Alan and Case and me, where we break down like how we actually got started in trading, the lessons that we wish we knew from day one, and what this Discord is really built for, and how it's different from, like alert groups or any of those like follow me type of groups. This is going to actually help you grow instead of putting you in debt or making you pay thousands of dollars into tuition with the most expensive classroom, which is option calling. And then at the end, we could do like a short live Q&A and then just close it out. But for the most part, we'll keep it short today. Nothing too long. It's a Sunday. I know a lot of you got time to spend with your family and got stuff to do. So, Alan, if you want to start on how you got into trading, that'd be good. Introduce yourself a little bit.
What's up? My name's Alan. I honestly got into trading probably gonna hit about 3 years. I like originally started trading crypto, and I kind of like got into it. I was like trading trend lines and stuff. But yeah, and then after that, I got into like trading options, and I wasn't at first. I obviously like everyone, bro. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just trying to like buy random calls, puts, and like sometimes I would make money, sometimes I would lose it, but after a while, I kind of like started looking more into it because I was like obviously losing money, and I just found like a strategy that worked for me, and I started taking options a little more serious. Started seeing like myself making money with that, and then I ended up finding futures, and with futures, it took me a while before I started seeing like some success. But like once I figured it out, I feel like I found that was like the best ROI for me, like return on investment. So I ended up just sticking with that. And I was just like buying evals and like trying to run them up to like getting payouts and stuff. And it took me like about like a little like once I started trading futures, it took me like a little under a year to like finally like get consistent payouts. But after that, it's been kind of like smooth sailing. Like obviously, like sometimes we have our little down streaks and stuff. But yeah, and that's kind of how I got into trading.
Hell yeah. I know Case here actually started trading before me. Case, if you want to tell us how you actually started trading. I know it was around that COVID time, right?
Yeah, since COVID, um, I started trading options. Um, More recently, I've just been trading long term and swing trading. That's probably about it. I've done crypto. I've done futures with crypto. Um, like on Mexi stuff like that. Meme coins stuff.
So
Um,
what actually got you into trading? Why did you start trading?
what got me into it was well, before I used to resell shoes, and um, I had a friend that put me in a group chat, and they had like people that were talking about stocks and stuff. This is during like 2018, and that's when I kind of just learned from those people. They had different people trading and information that was given out. So I took all the information for myself, and I pretty much just um, you know I made it my own. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what got me into it, was someone else's group and kind of like a friend. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I actually started learning how to trade because of Case right here. I was into crypto, and this was during COVID when everyone was, you know, on lockdown. Came outside my house, and he was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Come outside." And I went outside my house, and he was just, I think he was skating or something, skateboarding. And then we're just talking for a bit. He asked me like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "Oh shit, well, I don't want him to think I haven't been doing anything." So then I just pulled out I've been doing crypto, even though I was just like gambling and like throwing in money and then making money back. And he was like, "Oh yeah," he was like, "Actually, that's interesting because I'm doing stocks." And then he showed me like his freaking portfolio. I was like, "Dude, this guy is making way more money than I am on crypto." And then that's when we kind of like exchanged oh, like I'll teach you how to do crypto or like how to like buy it and get into these markets if you teach me how to do the stock market. And then pretty much hit it off from there. And then over the years, I've been on and off, losing money, coming back, losing money, coming back, losing money, all the way up until April. It took me some time to get back into trading because I know he was telling me when I first moved back, because I moved back last year or December of 2024, back to LA. And he was basically letting me know, like, hey, bro, like, the stock market is pretty good. Like you should get in. Just invest like $200 or $500. And I always push it off, be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll get into it. Yeah, but I was always just pushing it off, pushing it off. And then all the way up until April when I finally had some money, he was like, "Yo, you should invest, like really invest." And then I was like, "Fuck it, let me get back into the options market and let's start trading some options." Long story short, our first play, which was Robinhood, it was like at $25. We played that, made some good money, and then we just spent it all in Las Vegas, partied, and then same thing, like with some of that money, I also like looked on Twitter. I was like, I should really like educate myself or whatnot because I feel like I'm gambling still. Like I feel like I'm still in the same cycle, same rinse and repeat, same loop, and I wanted to get out of that. So I just researched on X and looked at different people who are into stocks, and I looked into C Blast, his Trade Echo Discord, and he made me some money on SPX. So I was like, hey, you know what? This guy's pretty good. Like, let me just join. So then I joined, did the 2K challenge, and then bam, lost money. So then this is where I'm at right now, where I'm like, okay, like I need to start freaking picking my shit up, start learning, and this is where I notice a lot of different traders are getting into the same issue where they start off with the most expensive classroom, which is options market. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars into tuition in order for you to learn how to trade the market. So this is exactly why we have this Discord, the Noir Exchange. This is to educate you, how to show you how to approach the market as cheap, as fast as possible, while also getting paid to trade the market, whether it be options market or the futures market. So I guess this Discord is meant to help you guys with the three mentors because we all have different strategies, different skills. I mean, number one, you guys know me best for the VWAP reclaims and open range breakouts and algo edge, while Alan has a different skill set than I do, and so does Kase. And you guys can learn a lot from the three of us. It's not just me because one strategy might not work for you, while another will.
Well, honestly, I mostly focus on like intraday trading. And I just like mostly like to trade the morning New York AM session. But I mean, as of like strategies, I mostly just trade, yeah, like you said, ICT. But that I feel like it's like a little more technical. And but I do mostly focus on day trading. I don't really ever swing trade.
Right. I do want to say you are more technical than I am. I see your levels. I see like, hey, I'm looking at this. You're very like, if my setup does not come, I'm just not gonna trade at all.
Yeah, that's correct. Like sometimes I don't know, like the conditions have to be pretty good for me. I like to trade off like I mean, this week's volatility was kind of honestly this past week wasn't like the best. Like I think Friday was and Thursday were like pretty good, but aside from that, with all the like the war news and stuff, like that's just like not good conditions for like the way I trade because it's just like very random and like big spikes with like really no retraces. I kind of like make money off like the retrace and then it'll like tap into my level
Yeah.
and then from there I'll like go on the lower time frame and then I'll see like a certain candle pattern. You know what I mean? And then from there I'll just target like the higher time frame levels.
Yeah. Yeah, this week has
But yeah,
been freaking interesting. Very interesting. Um I'm not a technical person. Like I can't do any of those like levels, and like the ICT trading I've seen is just very very complicated for me. But some people enjoy it. Annika Coco in this group, she actually enjoys the ICT side of trading as well. Um, so there's a lot of people in here who do trade that way. And then Case, if you want to share your strategy and how you trade and why you trade the way you trade.
Yeah, so I focus more on, um, you know, divergences, um, pattern based, um, just undervalued, pretty much um, undervalued stocks. So, like on the RSI, if something's very undervalued, and let's say we have a reversal, I try to catch that reversal. Um, I also do breakouts from the patterns, or what you call break and retest.
Yeah.
Um, so usually I like to find those and enter on that retest, and then you know slowly trail out of my position, uh, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And then I focus more on long term shares as well. So it's more of a long term game for me.
Yeah. And those strategies you taught me how to actually trade with.
Yeah, just like focusing on just super basics, just candlesticks and reversals, breakouts, just stuff that's usually the simplest, but it can always be used. Support and resistance is a big one. Um, VWAP too, same exact thing. Uh, yeah, it all works. It all conjoins. So yeah,
Yeah, so with the three of us as mentors, our main goal is to help you guys in this group actually level up, become profitable. Because the reason why I chose Alan and Case, not only because I know them in person, and I've noticed since I was like basically a kid, or since we were all kids. Um, the main takeaway is that they're both profitable, and to be a profitable trader is very low. Like, not many people can become profitable traders. Sometimes it takes years. Some people it takes months, and some people just get very lucky in their first year, and then they have enough capital built up to where it gets easier and easier to stay profitable the more money you have. What I've noticed is the more people, or the most of the times, people who have a lot of capital stay profitable for a while. Unless you're gambling, unless you're full porting, then it's completely different. But if you have rules, you have a standard operating procedure, and then you might have a mentor on the side to guide you, and like how I did. Case was actually mentoring me, like, hey, like, don't full port. You know what I mean? You should put only what you're willing to lose. And so he was just basically giving me the guidelines and the guardrails not to go off and basically crash my whole portfolio in one go. And a lot of people, even though they have those mentors, even though they have those guidelines, you still break the rules. So here we're very big on staying disciplined and following your rules, and actually setting your own rules, because I'm not gonna hold your hand the whole time. The stock market is always going to be different. The stock market is always going to be ever changing. Your strategies are always going to be different. Don't think that one strategy is like a one size fit all, especially in this market. One day the VWAP reclaims, and the algo edge. Sometimes that's going to be off some days. I mean, if we were right about everything, we'd be 100% win rate. I'd be full porting my whole portfolio to make billions. You know what I mean? So we're not wizards. We're not freaking gurus on YouTube who claim that they're buying Lambas because of freaking day trading or whatnot. And it's very possible, but it's a long climb. And you're here for the long run, not the short run. So if you think you're gonna flip $1,000 into $100,000 in a few weeks or a month or 2 months, you're living in Disneyland. But aside from that, the feature for this Discord, as you guys can see, we have the Noir Academy, which is free. We've started on Foundation 1, and I do have some, basic videos for new beginners or even people who just want to polish up on their trading. We have basics, assignments, execution, psychology, and then the funded path. Um, the the path there is you got to know the basics at least before you start trading, and a lot of times we'll overlook those basics. And then you ever see, like, you ever hear that saying, like, common sense isn't so common? And that goes with a lot of traders. So the very least we could do is just remind people, like, hey, this is a path you can actually take. And then at the end of that free academy, we actually give you the option, like, hey, like, if you have capital but you're still trying to learn, stick with options. But if you don't have little to no capital, maybe futures is for you because you want to start building capital, get into the market, still get paid. And then we are releasing our mentorship soon, which is going to have trade recaps. We'll review your trades. We'll have special discounts. We'll have one-on-one mentorships, either from me, Kase, or Alan. And not only that, but we'll actually have advanced education teaching you exactly how we trade, why we took the trades we took, and every single strategy and videos out there to teach you how to actually navigate the market. But other than that, that pretty much wraps up today's live. Do you guys have any questions for us? Whether it be about trading, whether about, personal, our personal lives, or, how we became profitable. Just going to throw some stuff out there for y'all to ask.
I did want to say that I feel like trading is like mostly, yeah, like strategy and like strategy does take. I feel like strategy is probably like 30% of like the success. You know what I mean? And then the other 70 is like mostly emotional, and like emotional control and risk management, bro. Because like you got to learn how to like take a L and just be like, yeah, I took a L today, but tomorrow might be better. You know what I mean? You can't just like put all your eggs in one basket and like just
That's
think
exactly
that one day is gonna change your life, bro. It's consistency that really does it.
Yeah, dude, I would say the same thing. Just to keep yourself in the market is the most important thing. Don't over leverage and stick to rules that on paper over time will work. Um, do not over risk, and no matter what, just always keep the risk the same unless you're changing something. Because yeah, risk management is very important.
Yeah, surviving that
I
learning
also
curve, especially your first year of trading, is very important. Like you guys said, don't over trade. Or, for me, like a lot of these people in here, they actually see how I trade. They'll see that I'm in and out in the morning. Like, I'm only in the first 2 hours. I'll trade once or twice, and then I'm done. Even though, you make your profits and whatnot, like, I'm not sticking around the whole day until market closes. That's how you stay sane. That's how you stay protecting your capital for the long run. So, enjoy your life when you trade and make that good trade. Don't give it back. A lot of times where I've lost most of my money is just staying on the market for too long and just trying to chase more money, more money, more money. then oftentimes you'll lose that money. So just that works for me. I know some traders in other realms, they'll trade all day and make more money. But this is what works for me. You'll find what works for you. So survive that first year. Trade one contract if you must, and learn as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I like what you said right there with the one contract thing, because like I think you should chase consistency, not money.
Yeah.
Like and like follow. Like I feel like treat a day a win or a loss depending on if you followed your rules or not. Like I don't know. Like I feel like I'd rather take a L, but like I followed my rules, instead of like let's say I overtraded and I ended up green. Because even then, bro, you still feel like shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
Like
when we mentor people, I always recommend, like, hey, if you have a strategy you're testing, or if you want to see, like, if Alan's strategy is working for you, just trade one contract. Like, there's no rush here. It's better to make less money than to lose more money trading blindly. Like, I'd rather make $50 than lose $10, or I'd rather make no money than lose $50 or $100. So just survive your first year. Oh, Stir Chef has a comment. I find I don't make enough to be satisfied with only single contracts. Then it causes over trading through the session. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Especially if you're coming from the options place or option space. One single contract, let's say with SPX, is like $375, $400, sometimes even in the high 700s. And very often you got to realize, like, let's all like remember where we came from, like working a day job, right? When you're working a day job, you're usually making anywhere between $75 through like $200 in a single day, but that's over the course of 8 hours. In the market, like, if you're making like $70 or $100 in the span of like an hour or 2 hours, but you're consistent every single day, you're supplementing your career, you're supplementing your income already. So instead of making like $75 in a day, let's say you make another $75, you're freaking making $150 in that single day, where if you just had a job, you're just making $75. So the way to shift from that is change your mindset on how you view money, because I know it's very easy to get into the, oh, like, I need to make more. I need to make more. This is all going to be different for everybody's living situation. Some people need it more because they're more desperate. Like, hey, I need to pay my bills this month, and this is what's gonna, make it happen. I've been in that position where I wanted the stock market to work, where I wanted my trades to work, but unfortunately, you get slapped in the face real hard, and then you realize, like, dang, if I just didn't trade at all, I would have had enough money to pay my rent. So I understand where you're coming from. Like, it's not enough, but nothing's ever enough. There's some days where you'll make like 7 grand and you'll be like, you know what, I can make more. I want to make more. But remember, you you should trade one contract if you're starting off, or you're brand new, or if you're not profitable on your own. If you're profitable following like someone's trades, that's completely different from being profitable on your own. Because what if that person disappears? What if that person stops trading, or they start over leveraging, start like breaking rules? So it's all different, and you would fall with them. So this is why we advocate to teach yourself, educate yourself, and really take the time to invest in yourself, if you will.
I have like a little something to say about that. I think like with that, like wanting to make more, I think once because at that point I feel like you're trading desperation and emotions. So at that point you're not really like thinking straight, and you're not like really taking valid setups. You're just trying to chase moves. So to me, like one that's like a trigger point like for me. So you got to kind of like learn your emotions and like your triggers, and like kind of like once I start feeling that, I'm like, all right, like that's my cue to like get off. Cause yeah, like you said, like you gotta like reevaluate your connection to money.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a huge part of trading. Like I said earlier, it was like 30. Like the strategy is not everything, bro. It's like mostly your emotional and discipline and your risk management. And that's like the hard part for a lot of people. And that's like where the real learning curve is.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think
psychology is
someone else.
huge on it. Case, you want to say anything about that?
Over trading, um, I've done everything in the book.
Yeah.
So I kind of already know my flaws. Um, over trading was one of them too. The best way is to just be very patient, like with yourself. You have to kind of look at before you do something. It's easier said than done, but I would write it down and focus on it when you get that feeling, and then say, okay, I'm not gonna do it. When I get that feeling, like Alan said, just walk away. You know, um, usually when you whether you have like a set amount of rules, whether it's like you know you're only going to be trading two contracts, right? For example, um, or whatever it be. Once you're in profit or not, and that's your trading, those are your rules. Exit. Step away from the computer. That's the best thing you can do is just stepping away.
Yeah.
Um, because mentally, it's for you to survive in the market and to learn those emotions over time. That's why stepping away is probably the best thing to do. With swing trading, it's not so much because um, you have time on your hands, so it's kind of easier for you. You know what I mean? To say, okay, it's not going the way I want it to. So that's why I've kind of leaned more towards swing trading than day trading. I used to do day trading, but right now I'm just more in a conservative mode. So especially with the market conditions. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kel has a lot of questions. She says, "How long have you been trading? Is there a particular ticker you suggest we start with? Do you have the time frame on when the mentorship will start? What is the price of the mentorship? Will other education videos be dropping soon? I watched the first video already." Okay, so I've I started trading in 2019, 20-ish. But not in the way you think. Just, I mean, it still counts. Bottom line, um, I was on and off. I quit a lot of times. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I've lost thousands of dollars. Like, there's no coming back from this, and then I come back, and then just been on and off for so many years, up until last year in April 2025. That's where I actually like sat my ass down, looked at charts because I was never reading charts before. Started researching different tickers and different strategies. So I guess since like for the last 6, 7 years, I've been trading really, and then really sitting my ass down and giving me the old whip for I can learn how to trade in April. And then, is there a particular ticker you suggest we start with? That all depends. It depends on your capital, what type of market you're trading with. So either futures or option trading, or even just regular stock trading with shares. But I'll answer for beginners. For beginners, like if you're trading futures, definitely mini ES or micro ES, which is the S&P 500, and then the Nasdaq, which is the micro NQ. And just for a beginner, I would highly avoid SPX and NDX and any of those indexes. Um, Usually, I suggest SPY and QQQ because those are generally way cheaper. They move a little bit better because there's more volume and there's not as much spread between the bid and ask. And then for the mentorship, I plan to release it on this Friday. There's so many videos that I have to keep editing, but they're all recorded: the basics, assignments, execution, psychology, and then the funded path. Those are recorded, So those are going to be ready to roll out on Friday. Price of the mentorship is $100 for regular members, but for the first month it's going to be $50. And then for anybody coming from Trade Echo, it's going to be 60% off. And then will other education videos be dropping soon? Yes, there's going to be a lot more. Have you? I don't know if you're subscribed to my YouTube, but we actually have a YouTube channel on here that will be releasing way more content. Not only me, but Kase and Alan. I know they make a lot of videos. Alan actually has a YouTube channel that you can follow as well. And then let's see, Stir Chef. I'm starting to get profitable on my own this past couple weeks, trading 0 day to expiry, SPX, and I've been at it since November. I'm still uncomfortable taking 10 contracts with position sizes exceeding a couple thousand. I'm aiming for $500 daily average profit. I've learned how to read GEX via Heatseeker as well. Yeah, that's, I mean, if as long as you're getting profitable on your own, you don't have to trade larger positions all the time. Um, you know, if you study everybody in here, you'll notice that we don't trade the same position sizing all the time. There's a lot of days where I would just, I'll take half the contracts I normally would, uh, you know, or sometimes I'll size up. It really depends on the market conditions, but not saying that you have to force 10 contracts where it's exceeding a couple thousand, but every market is going to be different. Bear market, if you're in a consolidation market or if you're in a bull market. Um, if you're in a trending market, I mean, I like sizing up, but if we're consolidating, I'll keep conservative and then just trade that through that chop. Because if I get hit with news or if I get hit with volatility, at least I still survive to trade another day. Yeah, Kel, I don't think I've seen you before in Trade Echo. But yeah, the YouTube, we're rolling out more videos. I actually have some I just edited, gonna upload it today. Um, and then Alan and Case, you guys have any videos you guys are releasing?
Honestly, I did have some videos that I did record, but I think I'm gonna re-record them just because. Yeah, just the way I structured them is. I mean, I did structure them pretty good, but I think I could find better examples.
Yeah.
But mostly I just like to focus on like trade recaps and try to like show when my strategy plays out and like how I really trade it. But yeah, I do have like some examples set out like put aside. But I'm gonna see if this week is like a little better. But this Friday I did really get like a really good example of how I execute the market and like how I find entries and my targets really. But aside from that, no, I'm just gonna focus really on the daily trade recaps. And if I don't really make videos, I'll just post on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. You should definitely have a link tree on your bio or something. Link in bio.
Oh, I'll do that. I'll for sure do that.
So subscribe to my Only Trades.
Tap in, tap in.
Vindo says he's been investing for more than 10 years, but very, very new to options. So he's still learning a lot. Had no idea what a candle is, VWAP, resistance level, support levels. So is there any study materials you guys can suggest for a starter like me? There is one person on YouTube that Case recommended me. Her name is Humbled Trader. She does go like super in depth with like candlesticks and VWAP and resistant levels, support levels. But we can always teach you that. The main goal for the Noir Academy is not to just be like the basic like this is what a candlestick is. This is like this is what a bullish divergence is. I mean, we can go over that, but it doesn't really move the needle as fast as we like it to. I made $500 with your SPX trade last week. I was trading SPY. I lost it on Monday, though, because I over leveraged on the first trade. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a lot of us. Kel, how long have you been trading? Are you relatively new, or are you just copy trading? Tell us a little bit about you. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up this live stream soon. You guys can always find us in general chat. You guys always can DM us. Like we're an open book. We like helping people. I mean, shoot, I wish we had us a year, 2 years ago when we first started. So the best thing we can do is give back to the community, educate everybody, and show you the full transparency that we didn't just start off making a bunch of money off the bat. Like it literally took a bunch of reps. It's like going to the gym. You got to go to the gym every single day. You got to go run. You got to go do your weights. Get those reps in. You'll find that you'll start progressing faster than ever before if you just come into the market and not knowing what you're doing. You got to have your leg days, your back days. Pretty sure Alan can speak on this. He goes to the gym a lot.
Every day, bro.
Yeah. Kel says,
I wonder
yeah.
if you are getting into trading, I would recommend the like futures, and like starting like maybe like with the maybe
Hello?
not get straight to funded, but like you're just practicing and testing stuff out.
Yes.
Maybe just get like a cheap eval and just practice, bro. That way you're not really like feeling the emotions. You know what I mean? Like you just practice on your execution, and then once you see like consistency, like, and I know you like to get the straight to funded accounts, which is honestly like a really good path once you're consistent, and you just skip the eval phase. But yeah, like if you don't have a lot of money, that's probably the best route to go, because I know options like you do need like a good sized portfolio, because like let's say you have like $500, like you're probably not gonna trade the whole $500 in one trade, or I mean most of the time you do. That's the thing, and then you take a nice sized loss, and then most of your account's gone, and you can't really. It's kind of hard to come back from that. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. Kel says she knows support resistance, opening range break, retest, candles, some patterns. When I'm still blind, when I'm not trading with someone, I want to get better. I don't want to be a copy trader forever, and that's exactly right. Because not only are you doing day trading, but you can't do day trading every single day, and not every day is going to be profitable. Sometimes the market favors swing trading. So this is what I'm saying. Like, if you educate yourself and you really sit down and learn every single step of the way, either from Kase, Alan, or me, you'll survive any market condition. You'll not only will you be surviving, but you'll be thriving. You can make six figures alone from swing trading, like ONDS. Like that was the craziest trade I ever made in my life. And not only are you just constantly trading, dude, you don't want to be trading forever too. Put that into a long-term position, leverage that with the banks, get loans, and make that money work for you. And then Vindo says, I saw some of your VWAP analysis. When do you use New York VWAP and when do you use Asia VWAP? It depends on how the market moves overnight. I always use New York VWAP because you definitely don't want to be trading against it. You guys saw on Thursday on my personal funds, I was trading against the VWAP and I got wrecked. And that's fine, but normally when you go against the grain or go against the trend, you'll get humbled real quick. And the Asia VWAP, you really want to see what price discovery is in the morning, whether it follows the Newark VWAP, whether it follows the previous day VWAP or the Asia VWAP. This is why I allow you guys to switch between all of those different indicators, and that's why you have like different anchors for them, because you often find that some days Asia VWAP would be favored where we cannot break past it. Some days you'll see that we cannot break previous day VWAP, or some days we'll just stay within the New York VWAP in the opening range as well. So all depends. Just look at the different indicators and their settings, and you'll find like, oh shoot, like we're actually trading within this range. But other than that, for you guys, the absolute best way to go about the market is, it gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you that, like, I guess like affirmation when you're looking at a chart. But the best way I approach this, because I'm gonna speak on personal experience, like when I first joined Trade Echo, I was freaking following the 2K challenges, and I lost thousands of dollars from that. And then that's when I was like, all right, like let me start learning. Not only was I just like learning, I will only take trades that fit my analysis and my charts before I took, or before I tailed anybody. Like if I saw like one of the traders in there taking an SPX call, and then I look at my chart, I'm like, that doesn't really align with what my markups are or what my levels are. And then you see that their trade doesn't work out, then you can be like, okay, well at least I did take that trade. You're not going to agree with every single trade. I'm not going to agree with every single trade Alan or Case takes, and vice versa. They're not going to agree with everything I take. But you'll find that once you take pieces of each mentor, each trader, and then you put it into your own strategy, you'll create your own strategy. You'll create your own way of making money. You'll be like a musician. A lot of musicians, they learn from the greatest, and then they make their own songs. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys find that there's a clear path here in this Discord. It's not like follow me, follow me, follow me. It's more like, how do I keep discipline? How do I stay in this market without getting thrown out the first day? And how do I become profitable? So you can find all that here. Remember, there's three of us. It's not just me. It's Case, Alan, and me, Steven. But you guys know me as Buckwheat. But any final thoughts from the mentors?
I just wanted to say something targeted to Kel. I just wanted to say that I wouldn't feel a need to have to try to learn everything, because it is really overwhelming. And I just like find like one strategy and just stick to that. Because if you're like, you gotta like see the strategy through, and like kind of see the ins and outs and kind of see what conditions it works in. Like for example, like your VWAP strategy, So you just gotta like learn it and like learn how to adapt it to the market and like see it play out. Because it takes like a lot of data. It's like you gotta gather data on the market and like journal your trades and like kind of see why it did this, or like around what time it did this. I think timing is a really important factor in the market also. But yeah, just like find one strategy, stick to it, and see it through. Don't think like, okay, one day I made money with this strategy, and then the next day you lost. Like, the strategy doesn't work. Like, you just got to see it through. I think I forgot who it was earlier was saying that they have like a $500 target for the day. I think it was Third Chef, but I think you got to look at it more, maybe like zoom out, more like a weekly goal instead of a daily goal. Because with the daily goal, it kind of your emotions, and you feel like, oh, I gotta get this in before market close. I gotta make this happen. Like I think you gotta like think about it on a higher time frame, and like try to make like a certain amount for the week or not the month. You gotta focus on the long term, not just every day, because like that's when your emotions start to take over.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a lot of the traders here, they'll see my challenge in the other Discord, where I'm not in a rush to make X amount in a single day. Like, dude, like the road to 50K was very it's like cool. Like, yeah, you can make $50,000 in a month and whatnot from $10,000 investment, but that's not the point. Well, the point is how you got there. This is why it's called the road to 50K, because you're thinking about the entries you didn't take. You're also considering every day that you stepped away from the computer, stay disciplined. You have a standard that you've been following for this whole month. And then when you have that standard set and you follow that standard, you often find that you'll stay profitable, that you'll stay disciplined. And like we always say, this is for the long run. Those profits from the road to 50K, we're not just going to go and just blow it all into one trade, or, go all of a sudden this whole work for this whole month to go and blow it on, 0 day to expiry Tesla calls and whatnot. No, what we're going to do is add that to our long-term portfolio, because remember, those long-term portfolios, it keeps compounding. A lot of people will be like, like take out $100 from your paycheck every single month. Like you've heard that, working a job, but imagine in a month you're taking $40,000 from road to 50K and you put it into a portfolio. Imagine 10 years, 20 years from now when you're like 40, 50 years old, retire, take all that out, you probably be in the multi millions, and then you go enjoy the rest of your life and have more money to leave for your children, grandchildren, or in more investments, or just want to go and do charity, whatever you want to do with your money. You will have that power to do that.
I want to say one more thing. I was gonna say that, okay, like some people they'll make money and then they'll lose it. I think a big thing in trading that people don't do is like they don't pay themselves. Like let's say one week you make like $1,000, and like a lot of people they'll just take that into the next week. But like I think maybe like take out 200-300 bucks, bro, because like at the end of the day, what if you just crash out, and then you just lose it all without like having taken out a cent. So I think a big part is like you got to pay yourself too, and like don't get greedy and think like I need that to make more money, because like just chip away, because your portfolio will grow if you're like consistent, and that's what you should focus on, consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
But paying yourself is a big part too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Enjoy your fruits of your labor. Um, let's see. Kel, one more question. Okay. I see everyone in chat says that challenges are cursed, but I see your challenge is successful, and I've seen people struggle getting over five to $10,000. What are y'all thoughts on challenges? Um, I'm the only one in Trade Echo, so I will speak on the challenges part. For me, I think the shift in that group is I don't see it as like a challenge where we're gambling that 2K or 5K or 10K, whatever it might be. We, like I said, we have a golden standard that we follow and that we stick by. You'll see that we never left that standard, and we continue that standard even into futures trading. Look, I'll say one last thing. There's a lot of people who come to me in my DMs who are, $300,000 in debt or lost, all their money, or like, hey, like if I follow you on this trade, like you think I can make my rent money back? I'm like, y'all are asking for a miracle for real. Um, so this is why I built this Discord, to just teach people like you can build literally from nothing. You don't have to have um you know $10,000, $20,000. You don't have to have all this capital. And if you don't have capital, you can literally build that from futures trading. So I'll go over a video today and release that. But I invested $200 into one account, took that to a live account, and this month I made almost $7,000. As you guys can see, it's insane. Like if you're brand new, you invested in $200, got $6,822 in payouts. You got to think about the return on investment. That's over like 3,000%. So Vindel, I'll release a video today, how to learn futures. I mean, there's not a huge learning curve if you're coming from the options or stock market. It's relatively very, very similar.
But
Dude,
if you guys ever have any questions, just let us know. With I'm just gonna say one more thing with swing trading and from what they both do, are in terms of time, it's very different. So like again, I have more time on my hands, so I can spot when something isn't going correctly for me to jump out. And then I have a lot less, you know, a lot less entries throughout the month than they do. You know what I mean? Because they're doing they're trying to find something every day or whatever. In a week, they're gonna find more than what I will. You know what I mean? So with that, it just comes patience. So if you're not a patient person, then probably swing trading isn't for you at that moment. Not saying that you can't use the hourly too, which is sometimes it's like a day or two, but just depends. But yeah, um, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, you're like a sniper. Like you find those entries. I know you time those entries very well as well.
Yeah,
So
it's important too.
I'm still a swing trader at heart. So
I honestly want to get into swing trading, bro.
there we go. We got a new one on the board.
Nah, but just
Yeah.
for like just to let it cook.
Yeah, especially
What
now.
about it?
Look at the market. I mean, we're entering a good trend, downtrend.
Yeah, bro, we are. Just honestly looking scary. I mean, we'll be all
Yeah.
right, but like, we're definitely on the downtrend, bro.
Yeah, some swing trading would be really good in this market, especially for the downside.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Yeah. But guys,
The
you
thing,
guys,
like
you
one of these days,
what
Trump is just
happened?
gonna freaking. I think like one of these days, bro, we're just gonna get like some crazy bullish news. We're gonna have like crazy ass green candle on the daily, bro.
Yeah, this market, that's why you don't over leverage. You don't put all your eggs in
Yeah.
one basket.
No, yeah, I know, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know?
And we'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
But guys,
What were you gonna say?
thank you guys for attending. I mean, this is beautiful. I'm glad that we can speak to you guys, more personally on the personal side, and we'll get back together soon enough, and then we'll host another one. I know Sundays are usually iffy for most people, either church or spending time with the family, or some people's only day off. But you know what? We'll be consistent. We'll be here. You guys can always find us in general chat, or you guys can DM us. As always, you guys take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep.
Peace.
Later, guys. You guys have a good one.
Peace,
Stay
guys.
safe.